I think it helps us too that we're both, on my list, a thing was I wanted someone to be driven and inspired by something. I didn't care if they made any money or anything. I just wanted someone to be so into something that they did every day. And when she comes back from her day and she tells me what she did, I'm like, I'm not sitting there like, yeah, okay, like when you're talking to your mom, when you're talking to your mom and you just say, your mom just keeps talking and you go, yeah, uh-huh. Yeah, like she comes back and like my eyes light up because I see the enthusiasm. I see what she did. And I'm like, it inspires me. And I'm like, I got to do more in this lane. And it's like, we're in this place where we're inspiring each other. And we're so inspired by what the other person's doing. And she'll help me out. She'll be like, well, what if you did it like this, this, and this? And I'm like, and then she'll say something and I'll be like, well, why don't you handle the situation? Because we have such different personalities that are also the same, but the thing that one of us is really good at, the other one maybe lacks a little bit, and vice versa. And it's so cool to be able to like workshop like little conversations or how to handle a situation. And I just feel so comfortable with her, like that I can say anything and she won't ever say, I don't know.
I love the maturity. I mean, hearing you both talk about it.
Yes, but let's be clear. We are not the perfect.
No.
It's not perfect.
We're
no,
so
but you're
silly
disagreeing. No. But I think the maturity of, and I agree with you. I think that's actually the difference. And I'm glad you brought that up. I think there's a big difference between maturity and perfection.
Yeah.
Perfection is saying we never have a disagreement. We never have to take space from each other. Which you're not saying. You're saying, hey, I just asked for 25 minutes space. Yeah. And then I was like, wait a minute, I need you.
Yeah.
And I think there's a maturity in that because it requires maturity from both parts.
Yes.
For you to first say, hey, I need space. For you to say, I get it, I respect you. And then for you to have the maturity to say, actually, I want you back.
Yeah.
And for you to be like, not like, oh, I told you so. For you to be like, I'm here for you. Like that's not perfection. To me, that's maturity. And I think I really want people to get that from it, that you are going to have disagreements. You are going to want space. Like me and Riley went through that. At the beginning of our relationship, if we had a disagreement, and we were the same, we made a rule that we would never raise our voices at each other because I came from a home where it was not great.
Yeah.
She comes from a home where her parents don't raise their voices. But I was just like, I never wanted that in my home. I wanted the energy of my home to be so sacred. And I wanted the energy of the home to always have a space where everyone just walked in and felt like a warm hug. And I was like, we can't argue and then expect that to happen. But it took a long time for us to realize that when she, at the start of our disagreements, she wanted space. And I used to say to her, well, if you don't want to talk about it right now, that means you don't care about me. And that wasn't true. She just needed space to process. So it took time for us to mature, for me to realize, wait a minute, you wanting space is you caring for the relationship.
Some people, I get it. They want to talk about it right then. The one thing that also works for us so much is like, we're not chill people, but we're never going to I'm not going to yell at anyone in my life. Like,
yeah, same.
And I came from a home where a lot of that was happening. And I saw like at a young age, and I was just like, well, like my parents weren't speaking the same language. Obviously, they were speaking the actual same language. They weren't speaking the same language to each other to communicate. And if someone comes at you like hostile right away, the first thing I'm going to do, and I know she's going to do, is shut down. So you're not getting anything, and I always say this, the guys are so quick to like, they got to win. They got to win the argument. And it's like, what are you doing? What are you winning? Like, you're going to argue with your wife and like make her cry. And then you're like, I won that argument. And then she hates you and resents you. Like, wait, like, don't be an idiot. And it's like,
I've been guilty though, to start.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not of you. Sorry. I think for me, I necessarily felt like in other situations of mine, it was, I was very reactive. I think that's why I was alone for 5 years, because I really needed to collect myself. I think in the past, that's why I say to him all the time, and 10 years ago, it's not that I wouldn't have wanted to be with you. I just wouldn't have been in the right headspace. And I don't think that you deserve what I had gone through before. So I've learned a lot of lessons and I've made mistakes, and I just want this to be right. So for me, that was a lesson that I had to learn, because I think girls can equally want to be right. That for me, it was really difficult in the past. And he's made it unbelievably easy, to the point where if I even get to the point where I'm so frustrated, he's like very quick to understand. I hear you. Like, you're allowed to feel that. And that helped me shift where my mind used to go, which was a little bit of anger.
So it
So
was the validation of how you felt in those reactive moments
yes,
that allowed you to not be reactive. What was it that allowed you? Because I feel like, as Benny was saying earlier, you carry this baggage from all of our relationships into this one.
I respect Benny. Because he's done nothing but respect me. I, again, trust him. I can tell him anything, even if it's about something that's uncomfortable, and maybe you should just talk to your girlfriends. Like, he is that. And that helps calm me down to say, okay, so I'm going through these things because of maybe what I had before, or whatever it is. It's nothing is ever bad. Like, nothing in my life I regret. And I'm so, so happy for my journey. And I'll continue to be. It is a lesson that you have to be patient and learn. And I can never picture myself disrespecting him. I think.
Well, it's also just a different thing, because it's like, look, none of us are perfect. Like, she gets spicy sometimes.
Yeah.
And when I see something happening, it's about guiding the missile, not adding a jetpack on top of it with like machine gun artillery. Like, I want to make, if I see her getting to a place where I'm like, man, in 5 minutes from now, this room could explode, I'm never going to let it get to that 5 minutes from now. I'm going to say, what are all the tools that I know that work for her, that I've learned over? Like, I'm not going to exacerbate a situation. I'm going to try to calm it down, because why do I want to be in that position where we're both just like upset about something? I don't want to just calm it down and tell her what she wants to hear. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying, like, to your partner, be like, yes, you're right. You're totally right. Like, everything no. I think you listen and you say, like, okay. Like, sometimes I'll say, like, let's not let it get there. Let's like just talk about this. And I do think physical touch is always like a very big way. Like, if you're in a conversation with your partner, like, it's like sometimes just like a hand helps, or just holding their hand while you're telling them, or giving them a hug while you're telling them. And if someone's upset, let them talk it out first. And then after they talk it out, be like, okay, well, here's what I think, and you can work through these things together. There's such an easy way.
Very constructive.
Yeah, it's not always easy. I can tell you that. And sometimes someone wants to be frustrated. And it's like, sometimes she'll tell me that. She'll just be like, I know it's going to be okay, but like, I just want to be frustrated in this moment.
Yeah.
And I'll have to redirect, because I'll be like, you know what? You have every right to be in this moment. And she'll say, this is why I want to be frustrated in this moment. She said it the other day about something. I can't even remember. And I was just like, oh my God. I was like, yeah. I was like, that makes so much sense. I was like, I don't agree with the frustration. We'll get there afterwards. And I was like, but I get it. I get it. And it's so cool. And I've never quite had a relationship like with her. And we're the furthest thing from perfect in the world. We're perfect for each other. We're not perfect for everyone else. But I think the thing that's cool is that we've had all these experiences. I've had all my experiences where it wasn't right. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to change that the next time, with this person or with that person. And I think that's when you really grow, is when you take all your experiences, good or bad. Like, I'm like her. I take every experience in my life, my past partners, my family, my everything. It's like everything happened for a reason. And I'm not going to sit here and mope about like things that could be better or different. What I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, I learned this, and now I'm going to put it into practice.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, I always say to Radhi, I always say to my wife, do you want me to listen? Do you want me to fix this? Or do you just want me to go through it with you?
Yeah. Because a lot of times,
make it clear for me, because
they don't want you to fix it right away. And I'm saying men or women.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not about fixing. Everyone is, I'm such a problem solver, and you are too. So it's like your first thing, I know the first thing in your head is like, how can I fix this situation? But sometimes it's not about fixing it right there. Sometimes it's about just like, especially for women who are like strong, like both our partners, they don't have a lot of time to be vulnerable in all the areas of their life. They have the world on their backs. Your wife there's so many people that rely on her. There's so many people that rely on her. So sometimes they just want to complain about something, and that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
okay. Who else
For
are they going to do it to? They might as well do it. And you just listen.